I feel like I talk to so many people, and to me, they have some unique skill, but to them, it's just something that they take for granted, and they don't realize, hey, they can leverage that. Like you said, you were a notary. You had all this different experience that the good thing is you were self-aware to say, hey, this is valuable because not everyone has this. But there are a lot of people, like you said, that I've talked to that are like bilingual. I've even talked to my sister about, she teaches hair and nail in school for nail technicians. And I said, well, you record your own videos, right? Some of those out there, put your own online class, charge people $100 for it or whatever it might be. But she's like, oh, there's so many people that know this stuff. And that may be true, but there's also a lot of demand for it. You don't have to be the only one. You don't have to do something, especially if you think, it's so obvious. It might be obvious because you've done it for years, but there's just so many things like online courses I have poked around with. And to me, there's a difference between having to go to work and choosing to go and work.
That's the thing, because people will say, oh, I went on a date with my husband and we actually dated and door dashed. We dated and dashed. We got 3 hours where somebody said, hey, we'll watch the children. And we're like, okay, what do we want to do? And we actually picked to date and dash. But it wasn't because we had to. It was because we were like, oh, this would be so fun. And we did it together. He drove. I dropped off the orders for hot because I'm not worried about finding directions, or he's doing that part. And then after we made enough money to like eat dinner, we ate dinner with our DoorDash money. And
brilliant.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And some people would say, oh, that's so sad that you have to do that, but you don't have to. We decided to do that. It's not like we couldn't go into our own like checking account and just pay for dinner, but like the excitement of it, right? Are we going to make enough? I don't know. And then you also learn about different food too. Oh, wow. People are eating hot pot, and people are eating, like you said, sushi, and people are trying like Five Guys. Like even I didn't realize how fresh Five Guys was now. If you're on a diet, it might not be the best gig for you, but man. So yeah, it was so exciting. So like you said, there's a difference between, and sorry for taking over, but there's a difference between wanting and having, like having to go to work. Like you get that second shift at Walmart and unloading boxes. Now every Saturday you can't go out because you're doing that, and not to put like a specific company, but just like anywhere, right? And then you're like, I could use $100 to go out later tonight.
It can be fun. I am totally with you. We have a small business, and sometimes when there's a lot to do, my wife and I will just kind of work on stuff together to get it done. And it's great. And we make fun of it because a lot of times it's just simple routine stuff that we're doing. But again, we're together. But it was just fun. Like I have some just great memories of doing some of these things. And it's empowering, I think, in a way, because you're controlling your own destiny. You're controlling how much you work, and you're deciding what your time is worth and what your value is worth, as opposed to sometimes when you get stuck in a career path, or maybe it's not even a career, maybe it's just a job. You're just going to a job, you're phoning it in, you're showing up, you don't have control over pay raises or hours worked or any of that stuff. And it can be deflating. And I think for me, finding a side hustle has been an opportunity to say, hey, I can control my own destiny. Maybe not every dollar, but part of it. And I can be creative in that space, and I can find enjoyment and educate myself and learn more. And there's just so many pieces of value that I get from side hustle other than just the money. And in many cases, sometimes the money is the least important part of it, because what did that money do for you? It gave you an experience with your husband to go out and dash together, and it gave you basically a paid for dinner. Yeah. So in the end, it was about you spending your evening with your husband, having a relationship, having freedom, having a good time. And the dashing was just the mechanism for making that happen. So I love it. I think we're on the same page about it. I actually love side hustles. I wish more people would embrace them. For the people that don't, I usually say, hey, don't worry about the time. Just find anything. What about 1 hour this month? How about that?